Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
It is so nice to have you join us today here on New Life Live. I'm your host, Brian Perez, and whatever it is you're struggling with, we can help you find your next right step. Anger, grief, marriage issues. Let's talk about it. So give us a call. And the next thing I'm going to do is introduce your new best friends who are so going to help you with your with whatever it is you're going through that you're going to be like, man, where were these people when I really needed them? Well, they're here right now. It's Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris and Dr. Jim Burns. Jacqui is a licensed marriage and family therapist. Jim is the founder of Homeward, and we are so happy to have you guys here on the program with us.
Happy to be here.
Great to be here, and great to be anybody's BFF.
Yes.
I'm just happy to
True
be
that.
a BFF.
Jacqui, what's on your mind to start us off?
Perspective taking
Okay.
and communication. I noticed that a lot of times relationships are struggling because there's a lot of conflict in the communication, so they don't communicate effectively. And there's conflict in the communication because each person wants their words to be the center of the conversation. We have to be able to take another person's perspective in order to move forward and to deepen our relationships. When I have something to share with my husband, I'm sharing from what I think, what's happening in my mind, what happened in my body when that event happened, what I desire, what I dream about. That's what I'm talking about. When I say it to the other person, they're hearing it through what they desire, where they've been, what happened on their side, how their mind works. And so it sounds different. It sounds wrong. It sounds like a lie to them because it's not their truth. And so we have to actually practice perspective taking. We have to practice regulating ourselves, our emotions, centering ourselves, grounding ourselves while another person is sharing something that's hard for us to hear. And if we can do that, we can deepen our emotional intimacy, we can grow in our empathy and get to understand and know our person. I hear so many people that are in families that they feel unknown and unseen. I know people who don't really know their parents. They couldn't say that they know who they are and what they think and what they want out of life because we don't listen to each other. As soon as someone starts to tell you something that you don't already think, you tell them that's wrong. No, that never happened. That's not what happened.
Yeah. And
so I'm just encouraging the listeners, if you want to have more effective communication, consider what I heard Dr. Jim Burns say one day. Do you want to be right or do you want to be in this relationship? And most often people want to be right and they think that the other person should concede for them so that they can feel good. And I'm just asking, take others' perspectives because the vantage point and the frame of reference really does matter in the story. If you think about the Gospels and the Bible, it's 4 different versions of the same story. And because we have everybody's world perspectives and everybody's viewpoints, we have a deeper, richer understanding of that experience. And so we need the different perspectives. I do when I do workshops, I have a volunteer couple stand up in the middle of the room and describe the room without turning their head, look past that person, describe the room. And they describe it differently because they have different vantage points. Neither are wrong, neither are lying, but they are looking at it from a different angle. And if we can just hold that in our bodies while we are taking another person's perspective, we can improve our communication and our relationships.
Jim?
That's a great word. When I was early in our marriage, I used to say, in my humble opinion, and then I would say, and Kathy says, in your humble opinion, you always think you're right. And I had to change my humble opinion and my way.
Yes.
So how do you do it, though, when, let's say somebody's talking to you, wow, we're running out of time here. Somebody's talking to you, you're listening to them, and you may not interrupt them, but in your mind, you're already interrupting them, and you're not even listening to everything else they're saying because in your mind, you're already having your own conversation.
Yeah, that's where mirroring comes in. If I have to remember what you said to say it back to you, then I can't be preparing my defense.
Nice. I like that. Okay, we'll get to the calls in a moment on New Life Live.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity, impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Cincinnati, Ohio, August 22nd through the 24th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And we're going to begin our time on the phones with Ann, who is in Orlando, Florida, listening on Sirius XM, channel 131. Hey there, Ann. Thanks for calling in to New Life Live.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you. I am 62 years old, and in 2017, my mother died suddenly, unexpectedly, out of the blue. She just dropped dead, and she was a believer, so we know she's with the Lord, and I have confidence in that. There's no problem with that, but my life was devastated, and just I have not been able to reconnect with the Lord. Before my mom died, I was in a church for about 10 years. I was leading a women's group. I was active and really felt like I had a solid relationship with the Lord. But after my mom died, the first year after she died, I was like a zombie. I could not focus. I listened to Christian music all the time because I couldn't focus on reading the Bible. I kept going to church. I kept going to my women's group, but I kind of handed it off to my co-leader because I just was so devastated by this loss of my mom, who I called on the phone multiple times a day. We were very close, lived in the same area. So and right now, I'm not going to church. I still listen to Christian music. I listen to Christian podcasts. But I miss that connection with church. But there's something between me and the Lord. And I have been honest. I read through Lamentation, Ecclesiastes, the Psalms. I cried out to God. I did all the things that David did, shouted, did all the things. And I just don't know how to go back. How can I get back that connection? And maybe you can't go back to where you were before.
That's
something
it.
Devastating.
You cannot go back. There is no going back.
Gosh,
You're going to move forward, but you're in a lot of grief. I heard you say that you were involved in these groups and then you aren't anymore, but you're still connected with God. You're still listening to Christian music. You have a heart to read scripture, but you don't have the energy. You don't have the energy because you're still in grief. Did you see a counselor or maybe go to a grief group after your mom passed?
I went to Grief Share, but I really did not connect. It just kind of made me, I hate to say it, but it kind of made me angry. I went a few times and then I was like, no, I'm not doing this.
When you may not have been ready. Grief Share, what it really does is it brings you into a group where you can then start to talk about your experience and have permission to feel whatever it is you're feeling, including anger. So don't feel bad for saying that. You weren't at a place where you were ready to have your mom be gone.
Right.
And it was sudden, and now we're going to talk about how to accept it. You just didn't want to do it, and so I could see it making you angry. I would encourage you, though, to go back to counseling and to meet with someone to walk through what's going on with you, and consider, might not be a popular opinion, but consider that you're not able to get back to what you were doing in that deep relationship with God, because that's not what it was. That was busy, that was action, that was activity, that was helping, that was serving, and that made you feel good. And you can't feel good right now because you are grieving, not because you don't have God. God's right where he always was. Have you ever heard of the Footsteps poem about him carrying you? Like, so you know that inside, right?
Yeah, but this is so many years later.
That's
like,
okay.
How can
It's okay.
it just seems like you should have been healed from that?
Who says you should have been healed from that?
I guess that's my thought.
Yeah, I think of grief as the flip side of love. And you talked about talking to your mom multiple times a day. You talked about her being close by. You were best friends. She was your confidant, your partner, probably your travel buddy. Of course, it's going to take an incredible amount of time and work to grieve this loss.
And if you had a friend who went through something similar, they lost their mom 8 years ago, they're still grieving, would you tell that friend, why haven't you gotten over it yet?
No.
So I don't think you should be saying that to yourself either, Jim.
Yeah. And I'm so sorry for your loss. I feel your loss. And I actually think a lot of your response is healthy. When I say that, when you grieve, sometimes you have to, talk to God about your anger and whatnot. And you've done that. You said you did things like, David did, or some of the other biblical heroes in our faith. And, the answer isn't that it's going to make you feel all better. So you're actually, I think some of that response is probably healthy grief. We just don't know it because we're supposed to have it all tied up neat and in a package. But I think when Jacqui was saying, we don't go back to normal. Now you have a new normal. I'm going to give you a very personal story. My wife lost her best friend. She talked to her every day. In fact, her husband and I used to say, I think they like each other better than they like us. And it was, kind of like the relationship you had with your mom. She died of pancreatic cancer 15 years ago. Kathy still grieves that loss. And there are days when it's really, really hard. And there's days when, frankly, she's like, I don't understand this. I still don't understand why God, took her, because Kathy's very involved with a daughter and a divorce and life and, more than we need to share. But the point I'm saying is what Kathy's had to learn was that she can't go back to that kind of relationship, but she can move in her relationship with God, and her relationship, a little bit how Jacqui said, your relationship with God is going to change. That's not bad, but it could change. And so maybe, like she talked about busyness, let's pretend that was it, that your leadership was giving you meaning, but it wasn't as deep of a relationship as you thought. So now you have a chance to, to find who in a sense, the new Anne is. And soon, and one day, we believe that like you said, your mom is with God. She's in a good place. You're the one who's still having to live through the grief. She's not grieving. You're grieving because of that. So I just want to encourage you to keep searching. Get the kind of counsel. If Grief Share wasn't good for you at a certain time, since you're still grieving, jump back into something. And if you don't do Grief Share, then fine, don't do Grief Share, but meet with a counselor to walk through that. And through that process, you have an amazing love for God. The way you described your love for God, people who really love God sometimes feel comfortable being angry with him. People who don't have a good relationship with God, sometimes they're like afraid to be angry with him. God can take it. He is the Holy Spirit is the comforter, and he's coming alongside of you. And I love that poem that Jacqui talked about, the Footsteps poem. He's carrying you more than you might realize. So I don't think you're doing it all wrong. But maybe now is the time to take a second step. There's a scripture in the Bible where Jesus was talking with somebody, and they were blind, and they couldn't see it all. Their blindness still was tough. You still couldn't. The blind, they opened up their eyes, but you couldn't see, and they needed a second touch. And that's what I'm praying for you, that you get a second touch. That second touch may look different than your past, because again, you're in a new place. But there's people in that Orlando area where you live who will come alongside you and who will love you through this. And you sound like even in the midst of that, you can love them. You may want to start serving again, because we serve out of our wounds. There's a great book called The Wounded Healer. That book was so meaningful to me to help me understand that even while I'm a wounded person, I can still, serve God. And so I want to encourage you to jump back in. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the same. But pray for a second touch for you.
Yeah. We'll send you the Life Recovery Workbook for Grief for calling in today, Anne. And also want to let you know about our Life Recovery groups. We can tell you about them when we get your address and everything. We'll find one near you. We've also got a Life Recovery online conference coming up in October, which we can tell you all about. Everyone else, just visit our website, newlife.com, to get all the details. Now we're going to talk to Whitney in Denton, Texas, listening on KWRD. How are you today, Whitney?
I'm good. How's everyone there?
Doing well.
You're doing great.
Doing well.
Okay. Well, my question is, I don't know if you can come back from, I've been married for almost 17 years, and you know how Maya Angelou says, once somebody shows you who they are, believe them?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do that, and I kind of got that sixth sense as an empath that, I might be marrying someone that, when you choose a team and you're like, yeah, I want to be on that team. He made that team look really appealing, and I thought we were on the same page. Anyways, after getting married, I figured out that he was actually an addict, and he's gone through all that, I almost left him when I had infant twins, and I also have been the provider for 17 years. So anyways, long story short, I'm just asking if you can come back from, that feeling. I finally have I'm just so done. I'm so over it. I feel like I'm married to, he smoked a lot of weed whenever he was younger, and I feel like he acts like a teenage boy. He has to just get on, if he gets onto these points, and he has to just dig his points in, and he's been through therapy. He's been in therapy for a long time, and has gone through 2 separate therapists, which is fine. But I feel like we're in a Putin-Zelensky situation. It's not coming together.
Yeah. That was a good
So
analogy.
that's my question. Is it possible to come together? I've put boundaries up in my life. For example, with my mother, who's kind of a very toxic person, and I don't regret putting that boundary up. It's been the best thing for my soul. And now he really wants to work on things, but I'm it's hard because I know he's going to go back to the way it's just who he is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't deal well with tantrums and things like that,
Whitney, have the two of you ever attended intimacy in marriage or done couples therapy?
No, we are in couples therapy right now.
Okay.
So it's not possible where we can leave right now with our businesses and things and children. We don't have a lot of help, and I have some major health issues that just prevent me from doing things like that sometimes. So anyways, that's where we are. I just am I'm going to stay until my children are older, because I'm a team player and I'm very loyal. But on the other flip side, he's let's grow together, and I'm let's not. He's don't you want to work on this? And I'm not really. Yeah. It's just it's not always been like that, but that's where I am now. It's once I have that final straw with somebody, I'm enough.
Because you're saying
my nervous system knows she's not safe for me.
Yes, you do want to work it out, but not with the present him. If you could go back 17 years to how he was when you guys met, that might be different. Is that what you're saying?
No, that was a falsehood. He was not that person. He was a
right, but the person you thought he was. You're right.
Yes, I would have walked. I would have walked. Yeah, we got married Catholic, and I was okay, well, at least I can get an annulment. I was literally thinking that 10 minutes after the ceremony.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad for you, Whitney, that you have been dealing with this for longer than you have been married. And so part of the struggle is that your brain, your mind is in this rhythm of, I should leave. I'm done.
Yes.
You've been doing that for more than 17 years. Are you in individual therapy?
I am, yes.
And are you in individual therapy? Are you leaning more towards I want out?
I'm to the point where I have I'm numb. I'm completely numb to him and his feelings and what he says, and which is kind of a scary place to be, because I'm past the bitterness, I'm past the grieving. I'm just numb. I just don't want any, I don't feel anything.
Yeah, Jim, about 45 seconds.
Yeah. It sounds to me like he wants to work on the marriage and you're over it. You don't want to work on the marriage.
Yep.
So it's
That's
not like
exactly where
we
we
can
are.
kind of fix him. We've got to help you think through some things. Can people who have been in your situation, can they change? Sure. Can the marriage change? Yeah, absolutely. People who persevere, all studies say that. If you persevere for 5 years in a troubled marriage, you can, there's 78% of them say that they're better off. But there's some things that you might have to do. You might have to work on your own self first to get really out of that numbness, if you would. And you know what? That can happen. I don't have an easy answer for you, though. It takes some work on your part, and when you're numb, it's hard to think you can do it.
We'll continue the conversation when we come back on New Life Live.
Here at New Life, we want you to have transformation. And so we have created the New Life courses, and you meet weekly on Zoom with a coach or counselor. You're going to have teaching as well as that group connection, because we know how powerful that is. We hear that all the time about our intensives, that they love the information, but the group process is so powerful. And many of you have been hesitant to participate because you're not sure, the timing, the price. The New Life courses are going to meet you right at that area of need. Every week you're meeting on Zoom with that therapist. You're going over the concepts as well as connecting as a group. It is so powerful, and it's accessible. Wherever you are, you're going to be able to join us.
Embark on your journey of personal growth and self-discovery in September with a New Life course. Lose it for life, take your life back, or healing is a choice. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Club New Life changes lives.
You guys came along into my life in 2022. That was a really, really difficult year of my life.
You can help New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people by joining Club New Life today.
I began to really process a lot of things that I've needed to for a long time, and y'all were a very big part of that.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
I came out of it having never experienced anything like that, and y'all were there.
Join today and help continue the message of hope to a troubled world.
I knew I had to keep going, and I joined Club New Life, and y'all have been the resource that has now been a light for my wife and I.
Go to newlife.com/CNL, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places.
Keep doing what you do, because it makes a difference.
newlife.com/CNL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go back to Whitney, and then we also want to talk to Paula, Brunie, and Leilani. But Dr. Jacqui, what did you want to say to Whitney?
Whitney, I was thinking on the break that you've been taking care of the family. You've been the breadwinner. And you've gotten to this place where you're numb. You've been rescuing him. You've been dealing with the fallout of whatever addiction is and whatever behaviors have been happening, and you just don't have it in you to want to work at it anymore. And going to intimacy and marriage, which, by the way, is in Dallas, would require you to have to sacrifice some things. You would maybe have to take off from work, maybe have to have somebody watch kids. But I will tell you that every time I have done it, I've come away from intimacy and marriage with the comments from the participants that I didn't want to do it, but I'm glad I did. I learned something I didn't know I could learn. This changed everything. And if you, I know that you are the financially responsible one in the family, so let's see if you can get a scholarship. We have very, very generous donors, and that is so that we can help people who need the assistance to come to something like this. It could be the thing you've been waiting for, the thing you've been hoping for, and it could make all the difference. And so I'm just going to strongly encourage you to do that, because what I see is that you've been carrying the weight for a very long time, and now you're at the point of, I'm over it, I'm done. But the call says to me, I'd like my marriage to be something different. And I remember a conversation Jim Burns and I had once where we are in a place in our marriages that is so much better than the bad place in the past. And people don't stay through that hard part long enough. Now, sometimes people stay too long, so I don't want anybody to misunderstand me. If you're in an unsafe situation, that's different. But sometimes the really hard things, we can do the work, overcome them, and then get to the other side of that. And when your children launch, you aren't ready to leave. You're ready to travel and re-engage in the one-on-one relationship with your partner. And so that's my hope for you, if you guys can get to that point. So I would just say, consider the Intimacy and Marriage Weekend. It's there in Dallas in October. That gives you a little bit of time to see if you can arrange some things for the other parts. Talk to us about it. When we let you go, talk to them and see if there's a way you can make that happen.
I love what you just said.
Well, and can I say one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
Well, and the other thing is like his actions have caused me like irreversible health damage. So that's the other side that I'm dealing with.
It's not irreversible. We're going to pray that it's not irreversible.
Okay, you're right. It's not irreversible, but it's causing genes to switch, receptors to turn on, brain encephalitis, things like that, like seizures that are 2.5 hours long. We're talking we're talking major health issues.
Yeah.
So it's so much to where I have brain damage from it, like from scans. Yeah. And so that's the flip side is like, why would I want to stay with somebody that's physically damaging my health?
Yeah.
Right, and that's a great question. You have valid questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I would just want to add to what Jacqui was saying, though, and again, I'm not pushing the intimacy and marriage intensive. I'm pushing intensives. What I find a lot of times with people is when they go to something that's more than counseling. Now, remember, this is a counseling coaching show, and now I'm going to say sometimes people need something a little more. So an intensive, sometimes breaks open because it was a little bit longer. And when you do that, and this is going to be so counterintuitive to how we think, but say, what can I learn from this? What is my part of this? And again, I'm not saying it's a 50-50. I don't ever see relationships hardly 50-50. There's something else going on. But, this may be a good learning experience for you. I find that when people go to intensives, like an intimacy in marriage, but when they go to intensive, there is sometimes literally that breakthrough that didn't happen in a 45-minute counseling situation. And it sometimes comes, what I've seen happen, I'm doing one this weekend and I'm doing one the following weekend, things like that in my life. That's part of my life. But what I see sometimes is the person who really you have a lot of things on your plate and you're taking a lot of leadership. But I find that sometimes they're the ones who say, well, I could learn this differently, or I had this little ray of hope. So, consider something like that. That's all I'm saying. You called us. So, and maybe you were looking for just a validation like, hey, run. But I understand that. But I think because you called us, you probably still have this, if things would change, maybe there could be a little bit of hope. And maybe some of that change is going to have to come on your part rather than on his. He sounds like he's willing, but not, I get it. There's, he's causing some pretty tough stuff on you. Yeah. So
it's hard to trust that the change is real.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't been in the past. And of course he wants to fight for it because you take care of everything. So I hear all of that. And you still have options, whether you leave or go. I just hope the best for you. It sounds like you're carrying a lot of weight, Whitney. So
it really is.
We're just hoping the best for you going forward and sending you How We Love.
Yeah, we'll send you a copy of How We Love. And the word numb kept coming up in this conversation. And I thought, where did I see that word earlier today? Then I looked down here on my counter, and it's in a testimony that we got from listener Paula, who says, before coming to the Intimacy and Marriage Weekend, my life was numb. Not hopeless, because I love my Lord, but I felt I had tried it all, and my marriage was a slippery slope downward. Literally 3 days before the event, we were discussing separation arrangements. But the Intimacy and Marriage Weekend, I experienced a breakthrough. With our facilitator walking alongside our one-on-one talks and learning to hold space for new ways to communicate, we identified our attachment styles and what that entails, and it gave me eyes to see my husband and allow him to meet me in his timing and his way. I'm leaving this weekend with tools, a new outlook, and a deeper trust in what our Lord can do. I now know how to repair ruptures. Our inability to communicate tenderly caused the rifts to keep us apart. We are eager to implement new techniques to strengthen our marriage. So, Whitney, we invite you and everyone else to the Intimacy and Marriage Intensive happening in October.
I was stuck. I was so stuck. 27 years married. My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our life. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
You guys helped me figure out what was going on.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learned a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
The day we've been anxiously awaiting is here. Dr. Alice Benton's From Chaos to Calm Anxiety webinar is tonight. And yes, you can still sign up. This is for anyone dealing with anxiety, even that high-functioning anxiety, which people think they don't need help with because everything looks fine. On the outside anyway. What amazes me is that New Life is offering this 90-minute webinar, which includes 30 minutes of Q&A, for less than $20 per person. So tell all the persons you know to sign up right now. It starts tonight at 7 Central Time. You can visit newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to get more information. To the phones we go. Here is Brunie calling in from Quakertown, Pennsylvania, listening on WBYN. Hi there, Brunie. Welcome.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Wonderful.
Doing well.
I'm glad that you guys doing a great job for the Lord.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brunie.
I call because I am just annoying with myself because I live in this life that I don't tell the people what I really think. And then I go into my own pity party all the time. You know, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that. And it just keeps going on. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said to me that it's because I don't tell the people what I think, and they take advantage of me. I can see my family and some of my customers, the same thing. So I just would like to just get out of that. And why I don't do this. I don't open my mouth to say. I'm very social and I'm very happy person and everything, but boy, oh boy, in that sense, whew.
So Brunie, if someone said something rude or mean or offensive to you, and in the moment you felt some type of way about it, you wouldn't say anything to them. You'd let it go, because in that moment you're not as quick on your feet to have a comeback. But then later on you go away, and later on you think about it, and you see that you're having the hurt and the rumination about what happened. But then you are angry with yourself, not the person who said the thing. Is that accurate?
Well, I actually never find people that they're rude to me. Most of the people like me, but like especially, let's say, in my job, my customer, if I am not content because they taken advantage of me, giving more work that I supposed to for what I asked them for the payment. So I decide later on, I deal with them And then later on, I just say a lie, like they call it a white lie. Oh, this is not working, so I'm going to have to, let you go. I'm sorry. But I'm really not sorry. That's the thing. Okay. I'm not sorry. I'm just rejoicing inside of me. Yeah, I'm not working for you anymore, Yeah.
But there's a part of you that can't maybe imagine just being honest and saying, you know what, this isn't working out. The agreement that we had, it doesn't seem like it's going that way, and so I'm not going to be back. We're going to have to sever this relationship. When you think about just being direct and saying something like that, what happens inside? What do you feel if you imagine yourself saying to your customer, this relationship isn't working out for us. It's not going the way that we expected, and so I'm going to go ahead and terminate this work relationship. How do you feel inside imagining yourself saying that to a customer?
Well, I don't know how I would feel because I haven't get to that point, but I'm still with this customer because I need the financial status, that is bring upon. But, like,
Are there things that are going on that...
I think that I feel the same way that I feel when I'm watching a movie or something and some people starting to take advantage of others and everything. And I can be very interested in that movie, but I am feeling the pain that other person is feeling, and I just turn off the TV. It's the same way.
Yeah. So sometimes you feel like people are taking advantage or using you.
Oh, yeah. That happens a lot.
And you've not ever been able to speak up for yourself and say, no, this isn't okay, or set boundaries of making limits on how much access they have to you? Are you able to do that?
Retreat.
Retreat.
I just retreat. I just leave.
Jim? Brunie, are you a bit afraid of rejection if you tell them the truth? Like what Jacqui was saying, this isn't working out. I realize there's a financial component, but I mean, more rejection. Do you feel rejection? You want to be liked?
I probably that's what it is. That's why I'm calling, because I don't know what the reason why I am like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that. I think that's it, right? That's why I was asking you what you feel in those moments, because that's the thing that is pushing you. That's the thing that is fueling you. You don't want to feel the bad feeling. And there may be some fear. Sometimes when we're young, we're conditioned that we're not allowed to talk back. We're not allowed to challenge, especially if it's authority. And if it's someone paying you, you may see them in that authority way. And so you might also be dealing with some childhood stuff of just the rule is you don't talk back. You take what they say. And if you've got some childhood stuff that you didn't deal with, you haven't gone through therapy before, and it's never maybe even come up for you, it might be helpful to get into that and unearth where that is coming from, so that you can make some changes in how you interact with people.
Yeah, you don't want to go through life the way you're going through. It's not fair to you. You're a child of God. You're a person and you're an amazing communicator. So you can communicate so well. So I think what you do want to work with, and I would suggest you work with a counselor or coach on this. The idea of why do I feel rejected? What go a little deeper on that, because when you get some of those answers, it may help you from then reacting the way you react with some of these people. The Bible says something really interesting. It's a proverb, and I think about it all the time. The person of integrity walks securely. And I actually think that the people around them will be more secure when they're people of integrity. Integrity doesn't mean being perfect. It means telling the truth. It means being honest. It means, living by the principles that you want to live by. Will we do it perfect? No. You'll do 3 steps forward, and then take a step back, and then you do 4 steps forward and 5 steps back. And, you still make a little bit of progress. I'm thinking it would be so good for you, Brunie, to talk with somebody through this process. And it may not even be long, but they might have some insight. And you have such a likability about you that, somebody's going to say, Brunie, you don't need to feel rejected. You got it. You're together. Honestly, you seem like a great person. But you got to work on that. You don't want to feel that you're going to have to tell a little white lie because you're afraid you're going to be rejected by somebody. No, tell them the truth. People respect honesty and truthfulness. You don't have to be blunt or angry or, terrible to them. You just simply, tell it like it is for you. They'll appreciate that.
And some people believe that being direct and straightforward is mean, because then people have feelings, and so you can get some practice. The Boundaries book, there are some challenges. You can do like a 5-day challenge and start to practice how you set boundaries, and you grow your tolerance, your window of tolerance for the discomfort you feel at someone else's displeasure with you. And so I would recommend Boundaries, and I like the idea of counseling or coaching somebody to come alongside you as you're doing this work, Brunie.
All right, Brunie, stay on the line. We'll send you a copy of Boundaries from the newlife.com store. Now we're going to go to Leilani, who is watching us on YouTube in Cypress, California. Go ahead, Leilani. What's your question for us today?
Yes, hi. I was married, been married with my husband at 5 years, and I found out that he's not healed of his women addiction and sexual addiction, and I caught him lying to me and caught him texting different girls to have sex, meet for sex online. Yeah, and then I got pregnant a year later, and we had a daughter. Now she's 7, and then 2 years later, God blessed me with another miracle baby boy in 2020. Yeah, but we lost the baby because of his adulterous relationship, and I also found out that he had a secret sexual relationship with my older sister. Yeah, and it's just all the betrayal that he did. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I just can't believe it, and I just tell God, why would he do this to me? Yeah. He just gave me 2 miracle babies, and just wanted to marry a godly man and start my own family, and why would I lose a second one at 43 years old?
I'm so sorry to hear.
So God told me to leave him, so I left him.
There's your answer.
Separated for 3 years.
God told you to leave him? Your question, should you go back? Well, if God told you to leave him, the answer is no.
Is he asking you to reconcile?
I'm not sure. Maybe you can help me how to figure that out.
Okay, we're going to a break right now. We'll be back here on New Life Live, continue our conversation with Leilani. Thank you so much for listening today. Pray for Leilani as well.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
is.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go back to Leilani. So we asked you, Leilani, if your husband wanted to reconcile with you. You said you weren't sure?
That's right, because he's not making an effort to go counseling, and he's about to living with his parents' house, and he's just not financially unstable with everything.
So Leilani, I would say you have your answers. You want this to be different. You wanted a godly husband. You did not get that. And he's not trying to be your godly husband. And so your question about should you go back or divorce him, I don't know if you should divorce him. I can't make that decision for you, but doesn't seem as though there's anything to go back to.
Yeah. Leilani, we want to send you a copy of the book Intimate Deception, and we also strongly encourage you to attend the Restore Healing After Betrayal Intensive. It is happening the weekend of November 7th in Washington, D.C. That's still a couple of months away, 2.5 months away. Gives you plenty of time to make arrangements, and you can get all the details at newlife.com or when you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now let's talk to Paula in Leesburg, Virginia, listening on WAVA. Hi there, Paula. Thanks for calling into New Life Live.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you today, Brian?
Doing well, thanks.
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris?
I'm doing well. Thanks for calling.
Good. So thank you for taking my call. So I'm calling today because I called a couple weeks ago with a question. I think the topic was concerning internal conflict. And the conflict that I was having, or am still having, is concerning racism. Why did God allow black people to be enslaved, knowing that we would continue to suffer, like, throughout our lives? Yeah. That, and then as it relates to division in the church. I'm having a conflict right now with the pastor of a church that I'm attending that's predominantly white. It's myself and one other black family who is now going through divorce. And my issue for the pastor is that he does not recognize our cultural differences, and he says that we should be more kingdom-minded. So when I try to talk to him about racism and that kind of thing, like he kind of sways the conversation back to, well, we should be more heavenly focused. But I still have to live in this world. So it's kind of like we're not really relating. Yeah. And it would be easy for me to just pick up and leave and go to another church. But I know the Lord sent me here to be a bridge in this gap. But right now, I'm in a conflict with the pastor, and he is trying to get other church members to come against me. And so the church is not really big. It's predominantly white. It's about 75 members, and that's including children. And they started this church because they broke off from a larger church. So I'm learning the church history.
Yeah.
So I know I said a lot, but one more thing I want to say is the lady Wendy that just called and you guys were encouraging her to go to the marriage intensive. I've been praying for her since she's been sharing her story that the Lord would make a way for her to go. And then you, Brian, actually read my review from the marriage intensive that my husband and I attended in Washington, D.C. So I just got cold chills all about the Lord, just make a way. And so I just wanted to put another plug, if she's still listening, if the opportunity to present this stuff, and I believe that it will, that I, just make an effort, just go open and willing, and let the Lord do what He's going to do.
Amen.
That's awesome.
Well, Paula, thank you for that. We will all keep praying for Wendy. For you, a couple of things. The first thing, the thing with the pastor, I know this is frustrating, but he can't get to where it is you want him to be. He has no frame of reference for it. And I know you're like, well, I'm telling you about it, but he can't. he has no frame of reference.
Is this an example of someone being so heavenly minded that they're no earthly good?
Well, I think that that is true. So that's my second part. But also, if you are a white man who's lived in a white environment and done white life, and you haven't had good proximity and doing life with people of color, you really don't know that racism exists because you've not encountered it in your circle. It's taken me a while to accept that. So he cannot have the conversations you want him to have because he doesn't see it. It's never happened to him. Okay. So if you're going to stay and be the bridge, you're going to continue to hold this. God, I think racism happens not because God allows it to happen in the church, but because God allows us free will, and we're people. And people are often fearful of what they don't know, and then there's the desire to control that some people have. And so now it's been developed over time, but I think it's an interpersonal problem, and it's about fear, and it's about proximity, and we are often afraid of what we don't understand. Some of us are researchers, and so we dig in and we ask questions, and we want to know more about the people we don't understand, but that's not true for all of us. And so I would just say, if you're going to stay, then you're going to stay covered in prayer and constantly listening to what God is saying to you about your role there, and hold space for them to have proximity with you. I think you're right about you being there because they've never encountered it. Yeah. And unfortunately, they won't until it happens to somebody that they know. And if you're not there, they don't have somebody that they know. It's going to need to be experiential, unfortunately.
What were you going to say?
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I was just going to say, and being the fact that we just moved to this area, we're a military family, we're Air Force retired, and so we've only been in this area for about 2 years. And like I said, it's a really small church, and there are still people there who don't know my name, and I don't know their name because they would rather bump into me than to stop and say hello. And
so I want you to take the lead and be the softer, gentler, welcoming person. And because
I feel so invisible.
Yeah, and you may be, because they may be intentionally not seeing you as to not offend you. They may be unsure of how to approach. I'm a teacher, so I tell people all the time, if you have questions or you need understanding about something in Black life or something that's being said, some stereotype, talk to me. I'm happy. I'm an educator, though. Everybody isn't. But if you feel God's called you, that might be your role. And I'm going to recommend you stay on the call, and when we get ready to get your address and give you the book that we're going to send you, I want to give you some other information that I think could help you. But know that if you're there because God called you to be there, racism is a man-made thing. That's God has no involvement in that. And the church has been around as long as the church has been around, but people hating on other people because they're different existed even in the Bible, right? Yeah. In the Bible stories. Sure. What happened to Jesus, right? So it is because God gave us free will.
Yeah.
And he could have made us all alike and all love each other, but if I have to force you to love me, is it really love?
Right. Exactly, and that's how I feel.
Yeah,
when I approach them and try to engage.
You're not forcing them to love you. You are getting in proximity with them because they don't know you, and there is still some tension and fear.
Yeah,
Jim,
Paula, I actually love what you're talking about, and I love Jacqui's answer to you. I want to encourage you that if you feel called to be at that church, because at first I would have said, if you didn't say feel called, I would say there's some great churches, I'm sure, in the area that would meet different needs. However, if you feel called, pick them off one by one, and don't start with the pastor if you can't get them. Just take somebody out to coffee. Let them get to know you for who you are, the beautiful Paula, incredible person, and just pick off some friends and get to know some of these people and know that it's your calling in life to do that. And if it is your calling, then God, and he sent you there, then there's going to be some success, but it's not going to come overnight, and it might not come from some of the leadership. And as you well know, you may feel unseen the entire time you're there, but you'll change somebody's life by connecting with them. And that's a beautiful thing. I'm excited for you that you can help some people see the light.
Yes. Paula, stay on the line. We want to send you a resource from the newlife.com store. Plus
the Heart Handbook.
The Heart Handbook. Okay. Plus, Jacqui's got some other resources for you, too. God bless you all. Thanks for listening to New Life Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.